In today's vlog, I want to describe to you the steering gear room of this very large ship. Hello everyone, welcome to another vlog from the seaside, and I am currently on board a product tanker. As you can see, it is a very large ship. This has 160,000 deadweight. It was built in 2015 in Romania by Deu. It is a Korean ship. The quality of the equipment, it is very good. If I have seafarers on my channel and they have been at sea, you will know that Korean ships are built very well and the equipment inside is a very good quality, same as the Japanese ships. So in today's vlog, I want to describe to you the equipment that we have inside the steering gear room, and I want to show you an overall view of the steering gear room. You will see that it is a very large area. Since it is such a big ship, everything is big here. My point is that in case you are coming on board anytime soon, I hope that by showing you this equipment and what to expect, you will have less anxiety and you will have an idea what to do, what to expect when you are coming on board. Especially if you are coming in the engine crew, part of the engine crew, you will need to know how to operate the steering gear equipment. In case of an emergency, you will have a short description by the second engineer or the electrical engineer on board, but I want to show you an overview just to have an idea before you step on board. So now we will step inside the steering gear room, which is located in the aft of the ship. Usually it is isolated from the rest of the accommodation, but sometimes you can go directly from the accommodation to the steering gear room. Down there you have the emergency fire pump. This is one of the panels for the pilot, autopilot. This is the panel for the hyper mist, water mist. This is one of the equipments that we use in case we have a fire on board, besides the CO2 and the portable CO2, of course. The hyper mist is located in all the critical areas, like the emergency generator, the main generators, the incinerator, the boiler, the purifier room, and so on. Everything that is considered critical equipment has also hyper mist above it. This is the panel, number one panel for the steering gear. Over here you have the number one panel for the hydraulic pump. You have a pump for the steering gear and of course the motor for the pump. Inside this panel you have all the alarms that you need to test on some ships, or at least to test monthly if they don't require you to test it every maneuvering, for the overload or for the low hydraulic oil. Every time you departure from the port, usually you have to test some alarms for the steering gear, just so you know you can departure safely and you don't have to call any maintenance from the shore, or the electrical equipment has to be checked by the electrician. In case you are here for the first time, I am an electrical officer and I work in the commercial fleet. That means container ships, bulk carriers, product tanker like this one, chemical tankers, and so on. Over there you are seeing provisions like water and biscuits and some blankets, because on most of the ships in the commercial fleet, the steering gear room is used as the citadel. That means that in case the ship is boarded by pirates, the crew will hide inside the steering gear room until help arrives, or until the guys, the military that is hired on board, will deal with the pirates. So that is why you will find provisions in the steering gear room. So these are the pumps for the steering gear. On the right side you have pump number 1, on the left side you have pump number 2. They are basically the same, because on most ships only one of them works at a time. They use both of them at the same time only when they are channeling or they are going under a bridge, because it's more dangerous and you have to steer the ship correctly. On the right side you can see that fence. Inside are the chemicals. The fourth engineer of the vessel, if there is a fourth engineer, otherwise the third engineer is responsible for the chemicals on board the vessel, and they are keeping them securely over there with a lock pad, so not everybody can go there whenever they want. So I will give you a top view of the steering. This is the steering gear. As you can see, it is very large. Like I said, this is a very big ship. So on your front here you have pump number 1, and on the right side there, in the far right, you have pump number 2. Over here, those springs that you press down are for testing the hydraulic oil of the tank. In case you have low hydraulic oil in the tank, this pump will stop and the other pump has to start by itself. And on some ships they demand that you test this alarm together with the overload or the missing the power supply. They demand you test those alarms before every departure. On some ships they don't require that, but even so you should test it every month, at least once. These are the telephones. You have the battery telephone, which is connected with the phone on the bridge, in the engine room, and so on, and you use that to call whenever you are in need. And also the satellite telephone is located over there. Now I will open the panel for the autopilot, which is located on the bridge, but the electrical part is located inside the steering gear room. Inside here, as you can see, you have all the timers, all the contactors, all the magnetic contactors, everything that you need for this equipment to work properly. And also inside here you have the electric diagrams, but we have the electric diagrams also in the PDF format inside the computer, or some people prefer, like myself, I prefer the books, the actual books. I will close the panel to secure it because I don't want any water to splash inside. Sometimes the wipers or the motorman is cleaning the floor and some water may splash inside, so it's always better to keep those panels secured, because all that electrical equipment is very sensitive to water, as you can imagine. So this is the steering gear number 2 together with the autopilot pump. Some chemicals over there, as you can see, in the blue barrels. As you can notice by yourself, the room is very clean. We have very hard working wiper and motormans that are cleaning the area. And these are the motors for the winch. This is the winch in the aft. So that is pump number 1, the control panel for autopilot pump number 1, the steering gear number 1, and on the left side where I showed you is the control panel, the electric panel for pump number 1, and this is number 2, sorry. So this is number 2, and on the left side it is number 1. Anyway, they are the same thing, and one of them is used as an emergency. That means that is connected to the emergency generator. In case you have a blackout, you have to have one working steering gear. So whenever you are using the emergency steering in a manual mode, you have to switch off the autopilot, and then you can test it in the manual mode. This manual mode is used in case of an emergency, if you have any problems with the steering gear, or during inspection. On every inspection, most inspectors will ask you to test the steering gear in manual mode. So like I said, first of all you have to switch off the autopilot, and then you can test the steering gear as the inspector will describe to you. Sometimes they will ask just for a few moments, like put it 10 degrees on the starboard and then 15 degrees on the port side, and that's it. They just want to see that the steering is working properly, and that's it. So I will show you over here in just a moment. So as you can see, on the green color, which is on the right side, is starboard, and on the left side, which is with the red color marking, that is the port side. So whenever you are turning the wheel on the bridge, then the steering will go to that direction. So the inspector will ask you to phone with the battery phone that I showed you before, which is behind me over here. You will phone on the bridge, and they will ask the captain to either use the steering on the bridge, or they will ask you to steer manually from the pump.
Thank you for watching my vlog. I hope you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy it, of course, I will keep posting interesting stuff from the ship about the seaman life. Sometimes we are working, sometimes we are barbecuing, another time we go outside for a short leave. Thank you very much for being here, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.